Royals in shock. Palace releases urgent health update on King Charles after secret Canada trip. Who would have thought a 20-hour trip would shake the foundation of the monarchy? King Charles, battling cancer, just made a whirlwind journey to Canada that's left everyone wondering, is he okay? Let's break it down. It was supposed to be a historic moment. King Charles, for the first time since becoming monarch, traveled to Canada, a key member of the Commonwealth, to perform an act his mother hadn't done in 68 years, formally open the Canadian Parliament. This wasn't just royal protocol. It was a symbol, a statement, a connection to the people. But something was off. Royal watchers didn't just notice the event. They noticed the speed. 20 hours. That's it. No public walkabouts, no extended engagements, just in and out. And the questions began swirling. Why so short? Why so quiet? Why so urgent? And then came the palace's response. A senior royal aide spoke to the Telegraph, sharing a striking but carefully worded update on the king's condition. They said, and I quote, "He's dealing with it incredibly well." That might sound reassuring, but let's be real. What does dealing well even mean when you're flying across the Atlantic with a secret cancer diagnosis? The aide added, "You just manage it. That's what he does." That's what he does? That's not exactly the royal seal of reassurance we were hoping for. This isn't just about one trip. It's about what this trip, and its brevity, really signals. Behind palace walls, insiders admit Charles is still undergoing weekly treatment. He's staying strong. But the fact remains, cancer doesn't take royal protocols into account. The king's commitment is undeniable. He stood in Parliament. He delivered a speech, but the man who once toured Canada from coast to coast could now barely spare a full day. And this is where it gets emotional. This isn't just a monarch at work. This is a man fighting for stability while the world watches. Yes, the palace wants to show strength. They want to portray normalcy. And maybe Charles himself believes that fulfilling his duties is part of his own therapy. But we can't ignore what's glaringly obvious. He's pushing through something serious. Something that's affecting even how the monarchy functions. Veteran royal commentator Tom Sykes called the short trip not normal. And he's right. For decades, we've seen royal tours last weeks. The Queen's visits to Canada were grand affairs. Multiple cities, thousands of waving hands, cultural ceremonies. Now, one city, one speech, back on the plane. And it wasn't just anyone noticing. The public saw it. Social media buzzed with theories. Reddit threads exploded. And even political figures like Justin Trudeau were caught in the crossfire. Not for their policies, but for how they dressed at Parliament. The Canadian Prime Minister wore orange Adidas sneakers to the ceremony. That's right, sneakers at a royal opening of Parliament. Critics slammed it as disrespectful, but others saw it as symbolic, perhaps even a subtle acknowledgement that this wasn't a typical royal affair. Everything about this trip screamed urgency. Not celebration, not tradition. Urgency. We're watching something unfold in real time. A king trying to uphold royal duty while managing an illness that has claimed millions of lives around the world. And the world watches, hoping, guessing, praying. According to the palace, the king's doctors have advised him to live as normally as possible. But the key word here is as possible. Behind the protocol and polished statements, there's an undeniable tension, a clash between royal responsibility and human vulnerability. And that's what makes this moment so powerful and so heartbreaking. Because at the core of all this is not just a king. It's a father, a grandfather, a man with a crown and chemo sessions, with history behind him and uncertainty ahead. And let's be honest, this is unprecedented. Never in modern royal history have we seen a newly crowned monarch fight a life-threatening illness while in office. Queen Elizabeth reigned for decades in robust health. Charles, just over a year into his reign, is already facing what could be the greatest battle of his life. That's why this trip matters. Not for the speeches, not for the ceremonies, but for what it tells us about the monarchy's future. This isn't just royal business. This is human business. What happens if the king's condition worsens? Will Prince William be forced to step in sooner than planned? Will the monarchy have to adapt at a speed it's never had to before? We've seen the signs. William taking on more public engagements, Camilla stepping into a more active role, and now Charles still fighting, still showing up, but maybe showing signs of strain. Is this the beginning of a royal transition? Quieter, softer, behind closed doors? Or is this just a brief pause before King Charles returns with renewed strength? Only time will tell. But here's one thing we know for sure. The monarchy, like the man leading it, is learning how to endure. Not with pomp and ceremony, but with grit. And now we want to hear from you. Does the palace's update give you confidence in King Charles's health, or do you think they're downplaying something more serious? Leave your thoughts below. We read every comment. And if you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like and share. Subscribe for more truth behind the crown. Until next time, stay watching, stay questioning, and never look away.